right?
It's got to be something that's controlled, right?
Yeah.
Not something that's out of control or just let loose,
Right.
right? Yeah.
It's like a fire that's left to just ravage the forest.
Yeah. Yeah. Fire can heat a house or it can burn a house down.
That's right.
I think the masculine energy is fear, and it seems like the male is being suppressed and vilified so much, whereas I went through a divorce. It looked like the system favors the feminine, especially if it's the feminine without the masculine, or even if it's a twisted transgender feminine, like anything that's not, I don't know, I just think it's unholy to a certain point. They're putting fear over love. God is love.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is like anti-God from one angle, how I see it.
Or creating this image of God that's not necessarily
True.
love. Yeah, truth or love. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lie, really.
That's based on like shame and guilt and fear. Yeah.
The low vibration.
What's this thing with toxic masculinity?
I guess it's like a term that people use to describe the bro culture. Toxic masculinity.
There's, with masculinity, that's like the head of everybody, like not the
Authority.
head, but like the authority.
Authority,
figure.
yeah.
That's it. And they're trying to suppress that so they can, I don't know, get the most strongest person in the strongest people, the men, like not like women are strong, but like they're just trying to knock it down, like it's you're masculine, so you're bad. And you're just trying to make it like, I don't know how to describe it, but
We're all feeling it.
Stereotyping
I
masculine.
think they're just trying to psychologically.
It's racism.
Sexism?
Yeah,
Sexism,
sexism,
yeah, sexism.
reverse sexism. What they're accusing or doing is what they're doing.
But it's coming from a place that's been also suppressed for a really long time.
Like in
The female, yeah. When you look at patriarchy or the religion, even as far back as the Crusades and burning the witches and things that are that. So it's coming from a place of hurt, and hurt people hurt people. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what I noticed that when I see somebody being mean and trying to hurt somebody, I'm like, somebody hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Most commonly the case.
So we should hurt them even more.
Right.
And eye for an eye, for sure.
So start throwing your stones back, gentlemen. Yeah. That's
I'm a way better hurter than you.
Get your sticks.
Smooth and masculine.
Yeah, that's ego. It's all that shadow stuff. It exists under the surface, and then unfortunately we turn to substances or negative
Escape
behavior.
some
Yeah,
way, escape
yeah.
some way, eating,
Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Exactly. Yeah.
get out of it. If you can blame someone, always take advantage of that.
That's why we see like modern medicine the way that it is, right? Anything to mask the symptom, anything to take away the pain, and to keep the body going. Not necessarily a bad thing, I would say.
Treating the symptoms
Yeah.
rather than the cause. Right?
Marijuana has been a tough one for me. I normally don't like it, but over this last bit, I just tend to smoke a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I find that even the sacred plant overused actually becomes hurtful. So
Hey, come on, everybody.
It's not the same marijuana that it was 20 years ago.
I know, that's what we talked about. It's different.
And what's really happening is our kids are getting addicted. And our kids are less now with this weed stuff. Well, my son's,
You're shattered.
yeah, dabs,
Yeah.
pulling out all the THC from the weed,
I like to hear it.
crystal form,
Yeah, different.
smoking a pipe, and this is what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a
And
bit
then they all
much.
think they're bipolar because they're having mass depression.
Yeah, what's real at that point? It's
They have no information.
Speaking of THC, I've got some sample if you guys want to try. I'll leave it up. I'll just pass it around, and if you guys want to try, I'll pass out. Here, I'll pass out. I'm going to pass out a CBD, and I'm going to pass out a CBD with THC. So we'll do a bit of both. If you want, you can take a squirt of both, and we can sample that. Yeah. I mean, I'll leave it optional. Everyone can choose. If they don't want to do that, that's okay. But
I also brought some a mushroom mix. This is not like psychedelic mushrooms. These are wild mushrooms.
Do you have chaga in there?
Chaga, yeah. So it's got reishi, chaga, maitake, turkey tail, nut moisture mushrooms, and sorry,
Why would you take that?
it's an immune booster. Essentially, I mean, it's got a lot of other benefits, you know, but yeah, it's essentially an immune booster, and it's all wild foraged mushrooms. Yeah, and my buddy goes out and collects them and turns it into a tincture. It's pretty strong. It's got a bit of an alcohol kind of a taste to it, but if you want to add it, it's good for your coffee.
That's cool.
So check it out. I'll try some of that.
You could just do it straight,
Yeah,
but I mean,
right.
it's gonna have a little bit of a.
You can't really OD on it.
I would say like one drink, like yeah, a
Like
little, push it all the way and then
Yeah.
take it in.
So I'll go one tincture this way, one tincture that way. If you want to do like a
Yeah.
squirt of each one of these.
Okay.
What we used to do when we were working out, John, what was the little vials you used to get with the Chinese writing on it? That's
Oh,
ginseng or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
The vials. We used to do all kinds of stuff. Protein powders that were
Well,
so
I'm
awful.
trying to, you know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to, how you doing?
How you doing? Matt. John. Nice to meet you.
I don't know if you want to, there's a chair back here if you want. You pull it up.
Mushrooms go.
I've been really kind of encouraging people to move away from the smoke. You see, the thing about the smoke is this. The THC plant, the marijuana plant, cannabis, is actually like the most healing plant for human beings. It's the most healing plant that there is for human beings. So it's supposed to be the human being's healing food, like nourishment, but you're supposed to eat it
Yeah.
raw.
So a hot leaf, you'd rather have that.
You juice it.
You make it into a juice.
Double fisted.
Right, you make it into a juice or you put it onto a salad. It's to be eaten raw. Like all plants are to be eaten raw. All fruits and vegetables are to be eaten raw. You're not supposed to cook. We're not supposed to cook the food. We're not supposed to cook the plants. You're not supposed to burn the wheat. So you see, the thing is, the thing that's in the plant is H3, hydrogen. It's not even H2 is normally H2, but H3 is like even molecular hydrogen in its free form. This is the best, the most healing, detoxifying element. This is the healer, H3, and that's what's in a high degree. Wish I should show you is like I'll do that today. Is I'm going to pull that out since we've talked about this. Is I'll pull out like molecularly and show you the structure of H3 and of T3. I'll pull it up. You want to try
Yeah,
to pull it up?
I'll pull it up for you.
Yeah, well, I've got it for sure on my phone. I'll get it up later.
Yeah, no worries. You guys go ahead. I'll just pull it up here.
The thing about it is, well, as soon as you heat anything, you break the bonds. As soon as you heat hydrogen, it goes from H3. As soon as you put it under heat, it's gone from H3. Right? So you can't cook it. And as soon as you cook the weed, it turns into an acid, which creates a hallucinogen, a psychoactive that we get addicted to.
Are you looking at something like that,
So they wanted us to get addicted to it. Now, when you smoke it, you only get 5, 10, 15 milligrams. Now, the healing dose is 100 to 1,000.
Yeah.
So this says it's 2 hydrogen atoms,
So
right?
we got tricked into burning it.
Okay. Now, can you heat it up at all?
Well, you can heat it a little bit, but if
You know, those vape pens.
Is that what you're
you
talking
can heat
about?
it slightly, but you don't even want to do it that way at all.
Yeah, okay.
What you want to do is you want to take it in the pit, and you want to take it.
Okay. So those ones there, where do you get those in from? Like, is that something you can get access to?
We can get access to that. We can get at that at the best price for everybody.
So
And
it's,
it's done naturally, like it's
Naturally, yes,
so it's better to do edibles than to smoke it.
yes.
So we're talking
No. That is molecular hydrogen. What I wanted to show was, well, you know what? I'll pull it up on my phone. I'll pull it up on my phone. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it
I've
that?
got
It's been really locked up for the last 2 days.
My name's Jeremy.
Jeremy, nice to meet you. Steve.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Matt. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Jeremy.
What's all that you're repping? What's your reference?
What's the story?
Ross.
All right, there's you.
Why don't you do 20 push-ups?
Oh, so, I'm ready.
Do you train jiu-jitsu?
I don't.
Okay.
Interested in it.
Yeah. Martial arts or something? You train in Hamilton or?
Yeah.
No martial arts at all?
I'm
Okay.
from Guelph.
Golf, okay. I recognize you from somewhere. I'm just trying to put
Burlington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Familiar as well. Where are you from?
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I spent the summer in Hamilton, so
Okay,
we might
maybe.
cross paths.
Yeah, one of those there.
So I mean, it's hydrogen actually that's in fruits, right? It's hydrogen that's in water. That's what detoxifies the body. Water, distilled water, hydrogen, fruits. It's the same thing that's chlorophyll. And if you look at the molecular structure of all of these things, you're going to see the H's here, and then you will kind of understand what's actually happening and why all of these things heal the body naturally. It's actually the hydrogen and the oxygen that the body needs. This is what alkalizes and detoxifies the body, the hydrogen and the oxygen. And this is the link to the breath, right?
It's interesting too because hydrogen's the first element on the periodic
That's
table.
right. So it's the smallest.
Yeah.
So it's the smallest element on the periodic table. And because it's the smallest, it can penetrate into the structure of everything.
Is this that one guy that you had that interview on your page, Dr. Mercolis thing?
I mean, I was kind of thinking I would pull it out today, but
Somewhere.
Can I ask a question then?
Yeah.
The edibles, are you
Yeah.
not cooking them?
Yeah,
No?
I wonder if, because there's cold pressing and there's.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And actually, the CBD is the one that is the least heated.
In past, they would have been baked.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you heat it up, it's,
Denatured.
it makes it, psychoactive.
Yes.
Heat it up, yeah.
Oh, and CBD? Okay.
Or not CBD, THC.
THC?
Yeah, but
So when you don't heat it up, it doesn't
You-
become
you-
psychoactive?
So
That's why I don't smoke weed.
Here's the
Because
molecular
psychoactive.
structure
You
of
can
like.
mess me up.
you'll still have, if it's not heated up, you can still get the, some of the benefits of it without, getting high.
I think, so from my recollection, when you heat up THC, it denatures the proteins in it and lessens
These are the bonds.
psychoactive
These are the bonds, right? Like it's got
something that
carbon,
the
hydrogen
bonds
3,
break down
hydrogen
and
3,
it
hydrogen
lowers the
3,
potency.
hydrogen 3. This is the only plant that has hydrogen 3, hydrogen 3, hydrogen 3, hydrogen 3. It's the most healing plant that there is. Now as soon as this is THC, right? Now as soon as you heat this, all of these bonds they break, and the H3 is gone, right? So now if you go look at, like, let's say if I put up, fruit sugar, let's pull up the molecular structure of glucose, of fructose, which is fruit sugar. You take up the molecular structure of fruit sugar. You see OH, OH, OH again. I mean, it doesn't have the H3. It's not as powerfully healing as the THC plant is. But the fruits are like your natural hydrogen.
Yeah,
Your natural hydrogen.
Yeah.
If I pull up molecular structure of chlorophyll.
That's what I'm gonna ask.
Let me-
What's chlorophyll?
Right. So let's pull up chlorophyll and you'll see chlorophyll.
Yes, our blood and chlorophyll are very similar. So
Right, yeah, it's just one molecule, or what is it, like, one's copper and one's, magnesium. or something.
Look at this
Right?
very similar.
Look at this one. So again, you're looking at OH.
like a long chain.
Let's get it. There.
That's chlorophyll.
People sell the bonds.
Is that
Yeah,
chlorophyll?
Which had no H3.
it doesn't have H3. No,
Chlorophyll at all?
no.
Did
no
you pull up the
H3.
fructose
Just
one
the
yet, Chuck?
THC has all those H3s, but the chlorophyll doesn't have H3. It has H2, H2, right? H2O is water.
Yeah, good.
Right? So I mean, H2 is very common for detoxification elements. H2 is. But to have H3 and to have it like multiple times all around the plant, you see how special this plant is. This is a healing plant, but as soon as you heat it, it's no longer. So they got us all cooked on heating it. Right? So we got stuck on the idea of heating it for 20, 30 years. And then not only that, they told you were bad for heating it, But you got a feeling from this plant that there's something from this plant that is something. Sometimes it's good for me, but I get into a habit with it where I make it unhealthy.
Yeah.
Right? And that's because I'm doing something to it that's not right. It's the same thing with the food. As soon as you cook the food, it's the same thing. As soon as you heat the bonds of the food, you kill all the hydrogen and oxygen in the food. And it's the same thing. You get addicted to the food. You can't manage the food. You can't manage the marijuana when you burn it, when you cook it. But if you stop doing that, if you pull that away, then you start to see, oh, there's something else. There's a deeper knowledge because I'm not thinking about going to go burn.
Things really
Right? Like you're always constantly going to go burn because I'm at the time I got to go burn. Right? And then you get into that agitation and then you get behind the burn. Like I get the high and then I'm hiding behind the high. It's always hiding behind the food. You're hiding behind the coffee. You're hiding behind the girlfriend. You're hiding behind the shopping. You're hiding behind the substance, the thing. And always, as soon as you take the substance away, you find out what's hiding behind. The anger, the frustration, the sorrow, the trauma, the emotional stuff that hasn't been healed because you've just been getting high. Or drinking coffee to cover it up. Or just drinking booze to go to sleep. Or just eating before you go to bed so that you can go into a comatose. But it's all the same thing. Right? But as soon as we start to do the right things with our food, and the right things with our habits, with our breath, and the right things with our movement, and the right things with our thoughts, and the right things with our words, then the right things start to happen. But when we keep on doing the wrong thing because we're in an addicted mess, so we want to justify it because we like it, because that's what we do when we're addicted to something. We've all had to try to stop before something, right? And what do we try to say? Oh, well, it's good for you. It's healing. Well, you need to have your protein. You need to have your carbs. You need to have your vitamins. And it's like you need to. That's how you justify it. Truthfully, you are physical, so there is a part of you that needs something, you could argue. But there's also a part of you that's metaphysical. There's a part that is physical and there's a part that's metaphysical. So it's not all you is physical stuff. Right? So the argument is, well, the cell structure is made out of lipids and proteins. So that means I should eat lipids and proteins. Now, I understand this argument. It makes some sense. It makes some logic. You can think, okay, it's made of lipids and proteins, so I should eat lipids and proteins. But if you really look at the science, you've seen in like grade 11 science, you saw cellular mitosis and the cell just pulled apart like this and made another one. You remember that?
We're mostly made of carbon anyways.
We are made of mostly carbon. Yeah. But you've seen the cell divide. The cell doesn't like take a protein and build it and take a protein and build it. It's like a false illusion of what happens. That's not how the cell fucking divides.
So what you're saying is because we're meat, we're flesh, we should eat flesh.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's the idea, but we aren't the flesh.
Yeah.
We are not the physical flesh. You think you are the flesh, so you have to eat that flesh.
There's a conversion.
That's how you
process.
think in your mind. So your mind process is that way.
That's how they taught us.
Until you,
Yes.
that's how you were taught since you were grade 2. You were been taught like that.
Yeah.
So that's how you were thinking. So you're thinking in a limited way, and you think, oh, I am the flesh, I am the cell. But if that was true, then when you were died, you would still be here. Your cell is still here.
We would all be cannibals. Like we would just.
Your cell is not here. You're not here anymore after you died. You're gone. But the cell is still here. So you're not the structure. You're not the structure. You are the higher self. You are the energy. Right? But you're stuck in the structure. Right? So we're stuck in the structure, and the structure is led by what's going on inside the mind.
What about an out-of-body experience?
Yeah.
We can come out of it. We can come out of the body.
Yeah, I'm stuck a little bit.
Near-death experience. Anybody had a near-death experience?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was just born.
So let's start it. Everyone's here now, right? Let's get started. Let's get started. I mean, it's something that's come together because we felt we needed to come together. We needed to create a community, right? So since COVID-19, it's been like, what are we going to do? What am I going to do? What needs to happen? What needs to happen? What needs to happen? What do men need? What do people need? We need to think about what people need. We need to create and give people what they need. This is what has to happen. So you have to think about what do people need, then let it evolve.
The truth.
People need the truth. They need to hear about the truth. They need to get clarity. They need to get new information. They need to get a way to come together and get it. Right? We need to come together in a community. We need to come together and get the right information. We need to get the information that's going to get us out of where we're at and get us to somewhere new. We need to learn some new things. So, in order to learn new things, we have to get together this way. This is how it's always happened. This is the only way it's always happened because, natural healing, it doesn't really generate any money for anybody. It's unpatentable. Right? The consciousness is unmeasurable. Right? So that's how it's always been that, it's always been like if we can make it be about a physical thing, then everyone's going to go buy that thing. So let's get everyone to believe it's about that thing, and then we'll get them to sell something there for them. And then they can go on a wild goose chase with that one, and they can go on a wild goose chase with that one. And each one of those wild goose chases is 5 to 10 years. Or 20. And then by the time they're done that, there'll be 40 or more.
Yeah, exactly.
They're 40 or more, and then you start to go, I've been here before.
It's why midlife crisis is a thing. It's like
I've been here before.
Yeah.
I've been here before. I've been here before because I'm always stuck in the same thing until I get something new. I need to get a new information to get out of there. Right? So breatharian science is, I don't need anything from the outside. I'm practicing this way. I'm practicing, I don't need to take anything from the outside. So you have to practice it for a while before you see the result. It doesn't happen because you said, I'm practicing this. It happens after you practice it for like a year. Give it a year. Give it a year. Look at it over a year or 2 years.
Is this like Tumo breathing, like Wim Hof style kind of stuff?
Awesome. There's a great example. Breathwork is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Breathwork, mindset, changing our mind, coming to the awareness of ourselves, reprogramming.
The power of the sun, right? They believe that
Light?
Yeah. You get your most of your nutrition or most of your energy from the sun.
We're getting the energy this is how the energy comes to the planet. It comes from the sun. Right? All of the energy here comes from the sun. Right? And that's the light comes from the sun, the seed comes from the sun, it hits the trees, that makes fruits and vegetables. Now, if you eat that, then you're going to be healthy and well. Now, if you take that and give it to the animals, and then you eat the animals, that's eating the second food. Right? You can eat the first food, it makes you well. If you eat the second food, it makes you sick. Right? The second food is for the animals.
Just to kind of attest to it as well, I found from switching my diet, mainly processed foods over the last 30 plus years, to a more raw food diet. Now when I do, say, cheat, and I eat like a highly processed meal, I feel just uncomfortable. Like it's painful.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
like, hey, you started treating me right, and you're about to treat me wrong.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And that can actually be scary, and it actually turn you away from actually eating clean. You get afraid, like, oh my gosh, I can't even eat regular food anymore. And it did that to me. It did that to me, and then it makes you go back to eating. And that happens. And that's a part of it.
Pushing me the other way.
That's a part of it. Good. And at some point it does that, and then at another point you go so far into not eating, it scares you, and you go, oh my gosh, and then you fall back into eating, right? It's like a back and forth until you learn, oh, really, actually, it's not about eating food. Like we got sold, it's about eating food, right? Really, if you look at it, if I don't eat food, I could live for 2 or 3 months, 2 to 3 years sometimes, some people, right? If I don't drink water, it's 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, Wim Hof, he did like a desert marathon without any water.
That's right.
It's crazy what people can do.
That's right, what can happen. And then if you don't have air, it's 2 or 3 minutes. So which one is the one that is actually the one that is fueling the body? Right? It's the air that's the one, but we've been sold that the energy is the food. So we can sell you the food.
The other thing that's really interesting about the energy in the food is, I would say for the last 2 years I've been vegetarian, and about 2 days ago, I was like, screw it, I used to love chicken wings. Sam was having chicken wings all the time, I'm gonna have a chicken wing. So I had a chicken wing, and I would say I was angry. I felt so much anger, and it made me instantly think about the energy that's within the food and within the animal being mistreated, and you carry that along with you. You'll pick it up more.
Pick it up.
What he was saying, like when you eat the food that makes you feel like crap, you kind of pick it up, thinking, okay, this, and the energy from that, you're more essential to that energy because you know what it's like that.
Yeah, so it wasn't like I was angry at myself for that. I was angry because the food made me angry. I was angry. I was like, no, this is not even me. Like, what's going on here?
It's an emotional response to eating the food.
And that's not treated well either. Of course, I figured that's chickens.
It's a good question. Is it actually an animal at all?
Right.
Like, I'm wondering. One guy did an experiment, like a math experiment, says the amount of chicken that people eat and the amount of actual, like you need to have chickens with multiple wings on it, like 10 wings each.
Oh, you see those chickens with the breasts that are like dragging against the ground.
Maybe that's what they have. I don't know.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine owns Red Rockets, and he goes through 10,000 chickens. Yeah, so many chickens that you know, and that's
5,000 chickens. Yeah.
And that's one place.
Or no, you get 4 per wing, right? Maybe the whole part. I was thinking, okay.
I guess it's yeah.
Yes.
For a second there, I thought you was the one who ate all those.
2,500.
2,500. Yeah, that's a lot of chickens.
Still,
No,
I feel like that really talks to our society as like just this overabundance, this gluttony, just it's kind of, especially wings, it's always like all you can eat, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you show up, there's an abundance, like 10,000 chickens that have just been slaughtered, you know, for your pleasure and enjoyment. And that's kind of the training that we have around food too. It's always like, you know, there's always an abundance, there's always as much as you, more than you could ever dream
And you're
of.
the human that deserves it.
Yeah,
I always think
exactly.
it's a greedy king, you know, the feast for the king who has and all the king's men eat this. But there's people out there that are starving, there's people out there that are suffering, but here's us who are fortunate enough to have all this abundance. We just want more and more and more and more and more. It's never enough. Until you take it away, you realize, oh, you know, I'm fine. I'll be fine. Everything's going to be okay.
Now we're paying for people that are sick, right? We're
Yeah.
being forced to heal them.
Yeah.
And we're not even healing them, we're making them purposely sick. Right?
Stick them in a bed, keep them there until they
The parents,
die.
they go into a home, anybody else that's sick, they like,
Yeah.
it's where's the community? I just,
Now it's just
Believe that
even
there's-
more amplified. It's more magnified because we have all this time on our hands.
Yeah,
Let's be real,
for
because
sure.
like things have
problem's
slowed
been
down. Yeah.
we're just
Now
aware
we're all
of
like, oh, this is coming to the surface. Now we got to deal with this. Like, shit, what do we do
it.
now?
Yeah, we're fucked up. man.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we get out of this?
There's a belief that we're disempowered, right?
Yeah.
We go to a doctor, this hierarchy, and they're going to tell us, oh, you're this, you're this, you're this, and like we got to get the power back to us, right? And we go to the doctor. Maybe you do have to go to the doctor for something. You're going to go to the doctor with your feelings and your emotions.
So you have to become the doctor for yourself.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Agree.
Let your food do your medicine.
This is the classic ideas. These are classic original ideas. These are natural laws, natural ideas. Right? This is what we got to come back to. Right? So James and I have been working on this kind of thing, this idea. We did it in January, the first week of January. And this is 8 weeks later, we're doing it again. We've been talking about it every single week. We've been talking about it every single week for the last 5 months. Before we did the last one, we've been working on, he's been working on a video program with me, like creating a 6-week video program, an exercise and mindset coaching program. We've been working on that together. We've been talking about it every week, and that's it. It's just coming together in community and consistently getting together and speaking about what it is you want to do. That's how you get clarity. Sometimes you don't want to do it. Sometimes you don't feel like it. Sometimes you're feeling tired. Sometimes you're feeling low. So you talk about even feeling low, because that's a part of it too. Because we have to like feed off of each other, and this is how we heal. This is how the body really heals. Like it's emotionally healing, it's mentally healing. The body is physical and mental and emotional. So there has to be some physical stuff, there has to be some mental stuff, and if you do the two of those, there's an emotional response. That's what heals the body, is when we release the emotion. Right? So we've all got trauma, we've all had shit happen. Everyone can say it, you know, like I've fallen down enough times. I've lost everything enough times, right? And so we get afraid because that happened, and we get afraid, or we get embarrassed because that happened, we get shamed because that happened, and we get angry because that happened. And we lost our relationship, and we lost this, and we lost the money, and we lost the job, or we lost this, and we made a mistake, and we beat ourselves up because of it. And the truth is, it doesn't make a difference what anybody else says about you. It's what you are saying about yourself. That's what makes the difference. It doesn't matter what the story is outside. It doesn't matter what anybody's saying outside. It's what you're saying inside. This is what's going to heal you or make you sick. Like if you're thinking, oh my gosh, there's disease around me, or oh my gosh, this is the greatest opportunity that's ever happened to me. That's a decision. And that's going to change how you're going to feel right now. If you think, oh my gosh, this happened to me, oh my gosh, this happened to me, or oh, this is terrible, or you know what, I can see how this is exactly what had to happen in order for me to rise up and become this person. That's a difference in thought and word.
But I know it's when I'm often in that state, I would say I would need the healing now. Because if I don't have healing for myself, I'm not able to.
And we can't ever, when there's someone grieving, everyone gets to grieve. And no one's right or wrong for how long it takes them to grieve. Whenever you're grieving, there's a grief time. It could be 3 days, it could be 3 years, it could be 30 years. Nobody can tell anyone else how long to grieve. You grieve as long as you want. That's your right. But at some point in your life, you come to the point where you say, enough grieving. I'm ready to move forward with my life, and then I got to let go of the victim part and turn it over, change the perspective on it, become the victor of it. That's when I turn it over, like I'm no longer the victim of it. This happened to me, oh, blame. This is so bad, why did this happen? You can stay there as long as you want, but then some point you go like, fuck that. I don't care what happened. I gotta go on, I gotta go forward, I gotta think and speak and talk about what it takes to move forward. I gotta talk about the things that make me get up and go forward. That's a forward action, that's a forward thought. That's a different thought than, oh, this happened. It's not wrong to be, oh, this happened. Everyone cries.
Yeah, it's hard.
We all cry.
And the truth is, because if you look at the core, like emotions, there's anger, there's hate, anger, fear, guilt, surprise, and happiness. So 3 out of the core are bad, really negative. 1, surprise, is kind of either or, and then happy. So you're really fighting those. So it makes it hard. But when you can centralize on 1 and realize they're all just learning stages, when you move on, then you can progress, right? But if you sit there and stir it, yeah, you just gotta learn to cut the cord.
Sometimes, though, we have to sit in that grief.
Sure.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
and we do sit in it sometimes for years before we actually come to the point that we're fed up. But at some point, it's like, has everyone here stopped smoking at some point?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and then you just finally got to the point where you're just that fed up with it that you just said, fuck it. And it wasn't anything except for just you got fucking pissed off.
Yeah, I was
That's it.
I
I'm just fucking done with that. That's what anger is.
Anger helps.
was like a hardcore drug addict for a long time, and you're right. You get to that. I find with guys especially, we've got to hit rock bottom before we start to climb our way out of it. And kind of akin to what you guys were talking about with the emotions and how our society just like suppresses. there's this thing where you got to go through an angry phase, to get out of it. And we live in a culture that people don't, and I guess it's everywhere in the world. It's not just, they don't like it when you get angry.
Especially men.
Yeah, especially men.
For sure.
We're scary.
Right?
Yeah.
So the
Right? We
idea
get
is
scary. Let's admit it,
it's
right?
scary.
we bottle the anger up and then we go depressed because it's easier, it's more comfortable for other people if we're depressed rather than if we're angry. That's kind of the default.
Thinking
right?
of the other person.
Yeah.
Thinking of the other person. But this is it. You can't heal yourself thinking of the other person, right? But we've learned it's good to think of the other person. I'm not saying it's bad to think of the other person, but I'm saying that in order to heal yourself, you have to put yourself first at some point.
It's when you consistently put the other person ahead of your own
This
thing.
is what we've learned, though. It's
Yeah.
selfish and narcissistic to think of yourself. Don't be selfish. Never mind. This is how it is in a relationship. It's always the other person's being selfish.
For me, I have an older brother, and it was always like, think of your brother, be the bigger man, or
Be better.
Yeah,
Be better.
I got
Guilt.
conditioned,
Guilt.
Yeah.
So I took all that guilt for my whole 10 years or 15 years or 20 years of my life. You think it's gone? No, it's not gone. Now I've got that guilt in me and I'm carrying that low frequency energy through my life until I heal that emotional stuff.
Yeah.
Now there's an emotional bit, there's a mental bit, there's a physical bit. There's an emotional bit, there's thoughts associated with it, there's a physical bit, there's a habit associated with it. It's got a physical bit, it's got a habit, a food, a drug, a substance that's putting a pollution inside of your body that's associated with it too. It's emotional, it's physical, and it's mental. And all three have to be addressed for it to come out. There's got to be some thought and words, some affirmation.
I also think there has to be a safe environment for people because it can get out of control. I found that was a big struggle for me, is like not having a safe space to allow that to come out. It can get pretty crazy. Like it can get pretty weird.
What we're doing today is going to call up stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to be calling up stuff today because we're talking about these things. We're pulling up the emotional, like the roots, right?
The garbage.
We're pulling it up. So, like, if you feel tomorrow, like, holy fuck, I'm not going back there again. It's not bad.
It's normal.
It's normal. It's normal, right? Like, after you purge yourself like this and you speak it out, you think it out, you speak it out, you speak it over your life, you're going to feel like this, like, oh, shit. It's very potential. Could be feeling like that. Or you could go the other way and feel very light.
I was going to say that
Right,
too.
it can happen
It comes
both.
off in layers. It doesn't all come out at once. We have this built-in protection around us where we're only going to release what we're comfortable with releasing.
Everybody's got to be used to a little bit of
Yeah.
release or a bigger release, whatever you've accustomed your body to, It depends how much you've practiced doing that. If you've really practiced that, if that's been your practice of purging your emotional body, releasing your mental body, letting go with meditation and affirmation and chant and practice and yoga and breath work and focus, and if you're living this way, then you can handle that. But if you haven't been living that way, then you're not going to do that and your body won't do that as much, right? But it depends on your practice. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to do today is we're going to practice.
It's always a practice.
It's always
Yeah,
a practice. So we're going to learn today a practice, a way. You're going to learn everything you need today. But it doesn't mean like you're going to solve everything in your life today. But if you practice like this, that every single day you strive for your best. Because inside of every cell is your DNA. There's a perfect replica of you inside every single cell. And if you intend to yourself to come back to your best, that sends a signal into yourself. That's at the cellular level. You're calling your way home. And it's the law. Like it has to be received. If you say, I am coming to be my best, every day, all day long, you will be your best. It will happen. If you commit it will happen.
Yeah, it takes a devotion.
You've got to devote to it. The more deeply you commit, the more that pulls it forward, right? So that happens probably 7 times. You're going to have to commit and commit and commit, like really, really deeply.
You did get that back yourselves.
Reprogramming coming out of the mind. Because the mind has some stinking thinking in it. It has some old pattern beliefs, limiting beliefs.
And it's
Scary
existed
things.
that way to keep you alive too. Like if we didn't have these things, we would, perish as human beings. We wouldn't be able to survive. It's when it becomes overactive, when you're always in that beta brainwave frequency. You're always hyper vigilant, or you're always stressed out. It's that idea like there's always a tiger behind you because your boss
Fight or
is an
flight.
asshole, and
It's important
you can't turn it
breathe
off.
properly. When you breathe properly, like
Takes you out.
most people don't breathe properly,
Yeah.
and it'll actually put you into a fight or flight just by. I hear some people are like vertical breathers.
Yeah.
They breathe like that.
Yeah.
And shallow breathers,
Mouth breathing.
it brings more anxiety than it has to be.
What I find too is sleeping. So I don't know if anybody here has sleep apnea, but it's this idea of when we're sleeping, if we're breathing through our mouth instead of our noses, you're not getting as much oxygen through the right receptors as you would if you were like a nose breather.
Is it dripping?
Yeah, it's dripping. I just noticed it just now.
I want to speak.
It's on your speaker. We should dry this off. We should move this too. Let's rinse this off.
There you go. Look at that magic touch. Good teamwork.
Yeah. It's probably not too bad.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of different practices that you can do to tune yourself up, to get yourself in alignment with your goals. And everybody's going to be different. So we're going to try a bunch of stuff today. And then hopefully there's something that speaks to you or resonates with you, and you can integrate that into your life.
Make it a practice, make it a lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
This is it. We're trying to build a practice. We're going to work through a practice. We're going to work through some practices today.
Yeah.
Some physical practices, some mental practices, some breath work practices, right? We're working on different things. We're intending to what? We all want to grow.
Well, let's go around. Let's set intentions for the day.
Let's talk
see what
about it.
everybody wants to
Let's
do
everyone get a
today.
chance to share.
Yeah.
Like, what did you come here for? Let's say name, let's say age, let's say why you came today.
Or pass. Anything you're willing to share. Yeah.
Who's going to go first?
I go. Well, my name is Matt Nash. I'm 37 years old, and I came here originally to teach you guys yoga, to meet really fine folks. But now I'm here to challenge myself with this ice plunge thing.
Yeah.
Just straight up, like I've been avoiding this like my whole life probably, and I'm hoping you guys can lead me through this.
We got you,
Okay,
brother. Yeah, we got you. We got
All
you.
right. I know I'm like fire by heart.
Yeah.
And, like I want to be in the heat, but so this
This is
got
going
the
to
sauna, we got the sauna too,
fire
we got
for
the
you.
sauna too.
yeah, the ice thing scares me straight up. So I know I gotta challenge myself. to do that.
Sweet,
Yeah.
sweet.
Nice.
You want to just go around?
My name is Roman, and I'm 63 years old. And had the pleasure of knowing John for 5 years. And I actually do this. I'm actually a mind and a personal development coach. So I do this every morning, every afternoon, and every evening. And I'm here to learn and to get some ideas, just to continue growing. So.
My name is Trevor. I'm 23, and I came to just connect with like-minded men and to really experience like a breath of fresh air. Just really get in touch with my own body.
So my name's Joseph. I'm 43 years old. I guess I kind of had a tough week with my 18-year-old son this week. So and then I just saw John's email, and it was just like, it's positivity, this, that, like just like a breath of like kind of like when you needed it. So I'm just thinking, okay, this probably might do me some good personally. You know what I mean? Because I run around with kids and this and that, but we forget to kind of take care of ourselves or try to do a little something for each other or for ourselves. So I thought this might be a good way to like, treat myself to something. You know what I mean? Kind of feel like I deserve it. A little after the weekend.
You do,
like
yeah.
that, you know what I mean? And then the cold therapy thing, that's been kind of the same thing like with what he said, that's kind of freaked me out. I thought we were going to the river. So I was just like,
That was
I'm digesting myself. Yeah.
I would tell you that's tomorrow, man.
Yeah, I was
You
just
go
like,
jump in the
no,
river tomorrow.
I saw, so I'm like, okay, no, it's not as bad as I thought. I saw it. So I'm here, positivity. Just work on negativity also. If I can learn some practices to get rid of some negativity and not get so down sometimes, and just learning, right? Learning how to get through life when life gets crazy sometimes, and just come out of it a better man, so you can really show your kid the right way and whatnot, so they don't have to kind of go through all the craziness that you had to, such and such.
Be better for the kids.
For sure, 100%. You bless yourself first by, you bless them by blessing yourself, right?
Model it. You gotta model it. They do what we do, not what we say. Right?
Exactly.
You have to
Model
model
by
it.
example.
My name's Ross. I'm 34. Big reason I'm here is because of Jeremy. I used to work with him at Lowe's. Well, I met him at church, working with him at Lowe's, and good friends. And he remembered me talking about Wim Hof like years ago. And then this is kind of like on the same level, like the cold therapy and breathing. So I was talking to him a while ago. I guess kind of sparked him his memory to let me know, which I'm very happy that he did. Yeah, I really want to do that ice plunge. Would be great.
You can go first. How about that?
I don't really want to, but I know it's great.
It's so painful.
It helps. Yeah.
That's painful.
Yeah. And with
It's just your skin. You're only feeling it in your skin.
you're talking about hydrogen and the THC. That's what you're saying is absolutely true. Also, your breath work, it gets you extra hydrogen. Your body is extra oxygenated.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of on the same level.
Exactly. It's
It's
very
like
close.
Yeah, like a molecular cellular level kind of thing, things like that. So, yeah, I've been doing it a bit. I have cold showers, and I go on YouTube and type in Wim Hof meditations and that, and it feels really awesome. You can feel the energy in your body. You can feel yourself warming up, and you can just let the energy go where it goes, and it's pretty cool. So I was just kind of curious to come see what you guys are all about, and just gonna get together, hang out.
So my name's Jeremy. I'm 49, and I'm really excited to be here. It's good to see Bud again. It's good to meet some new friends here, and I just love guys getting together, want to be better people. It's so needed, and I need this. So look forward to getting to know you guys.
My name's James. I'm 35 years old. I'm here to lift you fine gentlemen up. I want to see people rise today to get better, to improve, and myself included in that. Try out some different modalities, try out some new experiences, and really just be truthful to myself and speak from my heart as much as I possibly can to really show up in my authenticity.
Yeah, my name is Stephen Taylor, and I'm 12, and I've been, say, on a spiritual path probably for the last 8 years. Come from probably more of an angrier place, kind of similar to you in my youth, and then had to find a way to kind of balance all that out. And going from one extreme, I had to find different meanings in life and in different paths. So since then, I've done a few 10-day Vipassana sits. I'm involved in like a yoga practice a little bit, and just health in general has been something that's been a real interest of mine. So with that, I've been a vegetarian for the last 8 years. I found John online and been following him for a few years actually, his journey, just through his interviews with Altamilami, Chenga Charanga, and some other ones. So I've already known a little bit about his view philosophy on health and wellness and diet, and just everything just clicked with my philosophy. So it's been something I've really wanted to do for a long time, is to connect with John. And when, you know, the call came out that he was putting something together with the other men, I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted to do in 2021, is, you know, to connect with other people who are, you know, either on a similar path or just have similar interests. So that's what's brought me here. And
So that's the silent thing, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's silent meditation.
Silent meditation.
Yeah.
You said 10 days.
It's a 10-day silent meditation retreat.
Where was that?
So they have a meditation retreat in Ebert, Ontario. It's just north of Newmarket.
It's not
So
Willowbrook,
it's not
is
too
it?
far. No, not Willowbrook.
Okay.
It's Torana. I think it's called Torana.
I just had a buddy come back from one.
Oh, okay.
It's, you know, yeah,
It's
interesting.
It's a definite some deep work, inner work. Those 10 days.
Oh.
It's intense.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things I've ever done, but with doing the hardest things you've ever done, you get the greatest results. So I know that pushing myself into uncomfortable positions always, you know, is it's hard, but it always leads me into a better, greater existence of myself, which I'm trying to get to. You know, I'm trying to keep growing and keep expanding, and that's what it is in 2021. So I'm happy to be here and to be around everybody here. This is amazing.
And I'll say too, for me, it's just as much as, you know, I wanted to pull this whole day together. I want it to be a healing day for me. So this is just the same. Like I'm trying to release my shadows, and I'm trying to release my fears, and I'm trying to get clarity of, you know, what's best to give to people to help them move forward. I want to learn how to help people move forward. I'm committed to helping people move forward with their life. I'm committed to helping people move forward with their life, and I want to know how to facilitate that best. I want to learn how to facilitate that best by putting myself in that circumstance again and again and again. I just find when I put myself under the gun, then that's how I kind of get the clarity that I need. You have to kind of take a bit of a risk, you know. It's like I know we need to get together. I know that something needs to happen. I know that something new needs to come. But we're not squeezing it too hard. We're just kind of like letting it happen, right? Just letting it. Let's let that happen today. Let's let everyone do what they feel like they want to do. Everyone's free to do whatever they want to do, right? And we're all growing together today, myself included. Committing ourselves to like love for self and love for the others that are here.
We got some options for you guys. You do yoga. Matt, if you're ready to go, we can do yoga first.
I'm always ready.
Okay. You guys good with that?
Sure.
Okay.
So if you want a water break, do you want a drink break? Do you want anything?
We'll have to, kind of get ourselves set up in different spots, either over there or over here. And as you're doing that, just, get some water in you. There's some mats kicking around too, if you want to grab a mat, get comfortable. Is there a wash?
Is it 8 or 9 of us? Is it 9?
Yeah, 2.